Welcome to this video. In this video we are going to learn how hackers scan the entire internet in under 6 minutes. Before starting this video, let me tell you one thing: to watch this video completely without skipping any part, because this thing is a guarantee that you will learn something new today. Another thing I would like to emphasize on is this video is just for educational purposes only. Don't go out there doing bad stuff, and I am not responsible for your actions. Now let's start for today's topic. The tool we are going to be using is the Masscan. It is pre-installed on the Kali Linux. What is the Masscan? Okay, Masscan is like an open source port scanner. It can scan the entire internet in under 6 minutes. The main thing about this Masscan is it can transmit up to 10 million packets per second from a single machine. 10 million packets per second from a single machine, that is very much. Now let's understand how this works. Basically it has two things: stateless scanning, and other is the TCP/IP stack. What is the stateless scanning? Basically, unlike nmap, which opens full TCP connections, the Masscan just blasts out SYN packets as fast as possible. This is basically the stateless scanning. What is the TCP/IP stack? Well, basically Masscan uses its own ad hoc, that is the TCP/IP stack, which bypasses operating systems completely. That's why it's so fast. Now let's start over to the practicality stuff, like how hackers scan the entire internet. Basically, let me just open up my terminal right here and let me show you. Just type here sudo masscan --help, so you know what this is about. As you can see, it is telling right here that Masscan is a fast open port scanner, blah blah shit like that. Now let's talk over to the scanning part, which the hackers use to scan the internet. Let me type here a command which you will see yourself: sudo masscan. I'm going to type here an IP address. See it very carefully. Let me just zoom in it for a bit. Basically, see this IP address. First of all, see the command. I'm going to explain it later, okay? 6536553 Now let me tell you what it is, what this command is about. Basically, we are running it as sudo masscan. We are running it as sudo, and this you see right here, the IP address 0.0. This I will explain this later, okay? See this right now. This is the port. It's going to scan all ports on a computer with the rate. This is basically 10 million packets per second. You see here the rate, and this is basically the 10 million packets per second. Now let me tell you about this. This will basically scan the whole entire internet. Basically, the thing is how hackers would scan the entire internet. They target this 0.0.0/0, which means every IPv4 address. There are about 4 billion of them, okay? So they are basically scanning the entire internet. Now there is some kind of limitation to this. If you scan the entire internet, some sites will block you, or your ISP will basically block you because you are sending so much shit at a time, okay? There is some bypassing around this. We will talk about this later, but now let's run this sudo masscan on our own computer right now, okay? I'm going to type here IPA to see my IP address. This is my IP address right here. I'm going to copy this. Let me just clear up the terminal so it's clean, and now let me just type a sudo masscan. I'm going to paste my IP address right here. Now following with the port, I'm going to type here, let's say the port 80, port 443, port 22, and the rate. Let me just type here 1000. Now the thing is, basically I'm scanning my local network for ports 80, which is the hypertext transfer protocol, HTTP. The port 443 is the HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocols, and the port 22 is the SSH, okay? As you can see, it has discovered an open port right here. There is another thing which the hackers do is when scanning the entire internet. They basically use an exclude file. Let me just open up. I think I cleared the previous terminal, but let me try to add this again. Basically, just consider this, okay? with this IP address. Now they use something called exclude file. Now you are going to say, what is the exclude file? Well, basically they make an exclude file, and they put something like let me just show you. In the exclude file they put some IP address that they do not want to scan, like official government pages or something like that, which can make them get into trouble. So basically they just make an exclude file which has these IP address, so the Masscan does not target those IP address. Now let's talk about how do they bypass some of other shit. Let me just refresh this page. Basically how hackers get around this. Before this, let me tell you one thing. Basically the real problem is the ISP. What is the ISP? ISP is basically the internet service provider. So the problem is the ISP will notice if you scan the entire internet. Okay, most ISPs have rate limits. If you hit, like, I would say 100,000 packets per second, they'll block you completely, no warning. Okay, so the results will be garbage. But how do hackers bypass or get around this? They basically use something called a VPS. What is a VPS? VPS is a virtual private server. Okay, now another thing they use is they scan more slowly. Like, you can say instead of 100,000 packets per second, they maybe use like 10,000 packets per second, something like that. Okay, they can also use VPNs or proxy chains to rotate their IP addresses, or they can use something like academic or business connections with higher rate limits. The thing is, this video was just for educational purposes only. You see how the Masscan works. If you, for the more learning of Masscan, it's pretty simple. Just type here Masscan help, and it's going to show you how all this shit works. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. But another video, just keep this, just subscribe my channel, because the next video is going to be very insane. I'm trying to find a way for the Evil Jinx 2. So Evil Jinx 2, which we will make with free domain and free VPS server. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye.